Yeah, mate.
I got it.
Okay. Okay. So we have, like I said, about 30 people in our current, between the two master classes that are active, and then we have a bunch of other people. But we want to kind of create something where these guys can actually, like I said, they can actually help them and make it more efficient and dominate, because every real estate group, there's one that's 250,000 people in it, and everybody just kind of competes and goes up against each other. There's a lot of white noise, a lot of, like, Garys and the guys with Lamborghinis on YouTube and stuff. And we want to try to find a way to make it more efficient. Our whole thing the last couple of years has been trying to put together funding, for these guys to have built-in funding, but also to make processes more efficient and unite. Justin's got a really good background in what they call subject to, which is, basically you're taking over a mortgage and, eventually selling the house or renting it. There's a lot of different options. So we have our group has a wide variety of the different methods of real estate, or they look at, whether they're buying apartments or self-storage, or, assisted living facilities, things like that, besides the fix and flips. So, and then Kevin's one of my partner, and then Jesse Page isn't here tonight, but he's one of my partners, and then Spencer and James are two people in our group, and then Ari's he's on our PMA group. We have a private money a group that we've had for a couple of years working on funding, and he's one of our board members. But we have all together probably around, I don't know, I'm gonna say probably 50 total, but we have about 30 in the master classes. This is our second group, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to put you and Justin together, and maybe we could try to create something that we could actually, with these guys as well on board, to actually beta test something and create some kind of thing we could just take over, with real estate. And Kevin and I also do some other things with other metals and minerals and things, but primarily this is real estate. Like we're actually to discuss PPMs and offering memorandums, private placement memorandums, and we talked about the SEC last weekend. So tonight we're going to be talking about, like, some more paperwork kind of stuff, but really essential paperwork. But it'd be kind of cool also to be able to, for somebody to be able to generate, using ChatGPT or some other programs where they could actually, almost develop scripts, or be able to actually just put documents together while they're, make it a lot more efficient if they can go into like a 3 or 4 hour session and they could make a couple of offers. That's kind of what I was thinking about using AI for. Yeah. So there's a lot of resources, but guys, I think we'll have a few people here. So since I'm recording for everybody, oh, go ahead, Armando.
Yeah, no. There's plenty of ways that I've figured out. I mean, there are tools we can leverage, like collectively, yourself, myself, for our purposes. For example, like you can take spreadsheets today, and you can like populate one column with like a first name, populate a second one with like their last name, maybe like a third column with where you met the person, and in the fourth column you can incorporate the ability for AI to generate a script to say, it was pleasure meeting you, John so and so, over here at this particular place, location, and or you can change it up, and you can do things where you're saying, hey, I'm looking forward to I don't know, make them an offer of some kind, saying, hey, I'm a realtor in the area, in your particular area, this and the other. But you can customize it for them, and then you can use AI to generate a very unique response for each individual, and you can populate that across a collection of different cells. So there's like single tools like that. You can incorporate there's these chat bots that a lot of people are familiar with, like on Facebook, but now there's chat bots that are designed specifically to answer real estate questions. So and you can teach them to respond in a certain way that appeals to your particular situation, to your particular business. So there are tools that you can leverage, that you can piece together today to make some of this stuff happen, that can benefit everyone here.
Yeah, that's cool. Then what I was thinking also, I know you seem to, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just seems like you tend to favor one of the companies. I know there's Microsoft and Google, I heard Facebook's trying to
Oh.
get into it, but you seem to favor one over the other. I just wanted
Um,
to ask you that.
yeah, no, I do. And there's a reason why. I mean, the thing is, well, specifically, you can leverage like the Chat GPT has what's called an API call. So you can have API calls to Chat GPT, have it develop a response and have it call back. So I don't want to get too technical into this, but
Yeah,
the point is that
exactly.
you can integrate it into desktop tools. So you can use it in Word, you can use it in like I said, in Excel and spreadsheets. You can leverage it like in email. If you want to, let's say, for example, I'm using this today. I don't tell anybody at work or anything. I mean, I have a standard job, right? But I mean, the thing is, I leverage AI every single day. I work with, and this will be. I can talk about this, but I work with. I don't know if anyone knows what ITAR is, International Trafficking in Arms Regulation.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to ITAR, the thing is, like, I was trying to assess a revision of a regulation, and basically I referenced that. I said here's a link to this regulation. Now summarize it for me, and in like 3 paragraphs. And so it did that for me, and I sent that out as an email. I just customized it here and there, and I sent that out, and I ended up looking like a superstar. And the thing is that that's a very minimal way of leveraging AI, but that's how this is what I encourage a lot of people to do right now. And because I've been through a lot of different trends, I've been in tech for a very long time now. What I see is that the people that get involved early can see the emerging trends within the trends. So like maybe ChatGPT is the only way to get involved, or maybe Bing with AI is one way to get involved, but just get involved. Do it for anything. Send out I don't know, put together a birthday card. I don't know. But the point is that the more involvement, the more immersion, the more ideas that you can come out with. And so if anything, there's a benefit here. So I'm just encouraging you. So, but bottom line, get back to to the original thing. I do tend to favor ChatGPT because, and if anyone doesn't know the history here, it caused Google to send out what's called like a red alert internally, and it made Google freak out. And I said, "Wow, that's pretty amazing that this startup has made Google freak out to the point that they called in Larry Page and Sergey Brin out of retirement to see how Google can adjust for what's going on with ChatGPT." And it caused them to say, "Hey, look, we're gonna send out, we're gonna put something out there," and it was like something called Bard or something, and it was I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it was an embarrassing AI
Well, I looked it up
attempt.
when I saw it. I thought you posted something about it, so I think I
Yeah,
did a little
yeah, no, I
research
did.
on it because I'm like brand new to AI, and my experience now has been watching Justin a couple weeks ago do like 2 hours, and he made like 3 offers. Obviously, I'd like to get more deep and actually have people, but the people in our group, because they're trying to leverage a lot of the stuff in the documents we have. I mean, I have like 300 documents that I basically am providing these people and all the lender lists, and they're all white label editable, so they can make it their own. If they want to lend money, they've got their own, loan applications and credit applications that have been lawyered up already, so they don't have to go out
Mhm.
there and spend. I was talking to one guy today, and it's like you could go out and spend $3,000 up to $10,000 sometimes getting into a program, or one of the real estate gurus or something sells. Like it's a whole strategy, and then but if you want to change, you want to do something else because maybe a seller maybe a seller is not a good fit for seller carry. They got a
Mhm.
seller carry, they're carrying, the note. Well, then if all of a sudden you've got to gear up for sub two or something else, and you got to go out and spend $2,000 or $3,000 learning that. And so our whole thing
Right.
is we can leverage all that for everybody by acquiring everything for these multiple strategies and multiple asset quality. We want to dominate over the people that are still using, like I was saying earlier, the bandit signs and the cold calling and all that kind of stuff, which just pisses
Yep.
people off. People are going through a hard time when they're losing their house. And how do we can go through this program called Privy, which Kevin and I are familiar with. One of our friends in Denver owns the company, and he's a you can actually go on and find all kinds of information on the house, and you can sometimes they're on market or off market. And if they're on market, like Justin was able to talk to a real estate agent 119 days and 120-day listing, and made an offer that night. And obviously she wants to sell it because she loses the client in 2 days. And so all of a sudden he made the offer to her, and it was a little bit lower than probably she wanted, but she's at least got a deal going, and it's like, how can you leverage this? And he was able to use, I didn't see exactly what he was doing with AI, but he was doing, some scripts and some sending messages and stuff like that. And then of course, he had the programs, the real estate programs to do the searches, and going back and forth between doing public searches and like Secretary of State searches and all that stuff. Just really rapid
Oh,
fire.
yeah.
Did like 3 of them. He did 3 of them in 2 hours, and I'm like, guys, I mean, this is just a huge time saver too. It helps you just
Oh, yeah.
spend 2 or 3 hours and get all your deals. Yeah. So I'm thinking, how can we do this? And how can we leverage it? We've got enough people with everybody in our master class and our previous one and all that, where we could actually beta test something and build something that could be, a lot of people will pay good money for. People in real estate pay, pay pretty good money to get into things. And how can we, as a group, and I mean, including with Spencer, James, Doris, and Ari and all that, all our people could go out there, beta test it, and be able to offer it to the masses. And like I said, there's that one group, 250,000 real estate investors are in one Facebook group, and that's a lot of people,
Yeah.
that are, and that's probably more. And they're doing everything, in that group. That group isn't focused on one. They're not flips. They're not looking at single family. They're across the board. So we want to do that too, and we've been working on this for a while. So definitely do and appreciate your time. I'm gonna let me
Absolutely.
like I said, we got yeah, man. I'm really glad, and we started talking, and hopefully I can get with Justin when he's not busy. I think he's doing a session tonight trying to buy some properties. That's what those guys do. They jump on their computer at night and start trying to call people. But yeah, he's phenomenal at it. So I think we should definitely try to put something together. Hey, does anybody have any questions
Sure.
for Armando before I go into tonight's topics? So I know we got a few people. Doris, I know you just came in. Yeah.
Well, if anything, I'd tell you what I can do. In a way, actually, what I can do is provide like a listing of different tools that are out there. If your group or users, or if you want to share it around, I have a collection of links for a bunch of different tools that can be leveraged.
Well,
these are AI tools. These are machine learning tools, stuff like that.
What I'll do is after I'm done tonight, we'll finish about an hour, probably hour and a half, maybe 2 at the
Sure.
tops. Sometime tonight or tomorrow, and I'll message you and let you know. I'll just give you the link to our private hidden group.
We're gonna have to hook him up with Benson too. He's another one of your fellow veterans. He also learned how to do what he's doing through the use of the United States government computers as well. So I think you'll find that conversation quite enlightening. So
Awesome.
if you can get him set up with him, Nate, I think it would be an interesting one to listen to there.
And Armando, just you said you're in Colorado Springs. Are you in Colorado Springs?
I am.
You're just okay.
Yep.
Because I'm in Evergreen. So Kevin, just so you know, if you've obviously heard of Stevenson Chevrolet and Toyota, right? In Denver.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's Kevin's family.
Oh wow.
They just sold it
Cool.
last year for about 400 million, plus Denver West
Jeez.
Office Park and all that. So yeah, just to let you know that. So he's in Kansas City. So yeah, so all those dealerships. Yep. Chevrolet, Toyota, Jaguar, Lexus, Subaru, Denver West Office Park.
Collection.
Yeah, all the real estate that's right around there, the malls, all that. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just give you the link to our private hidden group, and if you just want to go on there and just list those and just introduce yourself to people, and then I want to try to get you with Justin again, and then maybe we'll put a group together. We got a few other people that are a little bit more tech savvy that we can kind of maybe harness them, because then we could reach out to all these other people in these other groups and go, hey, if people are asking about AI, and even in Jim's group, 250,000 people, there's a lot of people interested in AI in there. No,
Awesome.
so I think we could really, benefit to you. And I don't know if you want to hang around and see at least some of the presentation. We're talking about
I do.
usually some pretty boring stuff, private placement memorandums and offer memorandums. So
No,
guys, with
I
that,
like it.
yeah, just to
Yeah.
kind of get, that way, because maybe there's some things we can do to use AI to even harness that. Like can you do
Yep.
a private placement memorandum that's SEC compliant that, your securities attorney is not like, I didn't
Yep.
see that. So guys, tonight like I said, we're talking about, this is just a great opportunity, guys. And I've got like 10 or 12 more people besides Armando to bring on that are just kind of people that you guys need to kind of, we can bring in and work with everybody. And tonight, guys, just for you who just came on, before I start, we do have a gentleman who's going to be starting with us. He's going to be joining Masterclass for July, but he'll be starting with us coming on in the next week or two. And he does loans for down payments. He doesn't now, he's setting it up. He's got a couple $100,000 to use of his own money. And we're going to be nurturing and helping him build that. So, it's going to be you guys in this group and the master classes, the two of them that are going to be, and some PMA people that are going to be able to take advantage of that and work with him to build up, so that's a rare thing because I've been in the last 3 years, I've been scrambling to find somebody who could do a down payment loan. I don't know if he's going to make the loan, and he's going to, get paid back of the title company, or if he's going to stay in the deal as like a second. So we're still going to work that out, but I've managed to have about an hour and a half conversation with him today, and I've talked to him about 20 times in the last 2 weeks, and he's going to be joining Masterclass as a paid member. So just like everybody else. So that's just one more person that's coming on. And then, we'll, yeah, and once we finish week 12 at about the first or second week in April, we're going to go to every other week until July. And then we're going to start this over again. And we'll have new people, but some new people will be joining us in progress. They'll just be catching up on the videos. So tonight, guys, is the offer memorandums and the private placement memorandum and the subscription agreement. So one of the things is I did put a link into ppmfast.com. This might be another area we can look at for AI. You can actually, and I don't recommend it, but if you absolutely had to, or if you just want to get one to fill it out, if you're going to raise money and you want to fill it out, and it's pretty extensive, you can make, you could actually, it's SEC compliant, so you could do a regulation D. You can buy it actually for regulation D 506C or B. You can also do a couple other things, and they got one for real estate and non-real estate, but it's called ppmfast.com. I put the link into the group. So they send
Hey,
you a
Nate,
whole package, including, yeah.
where are they on approving that final rule that they floated around of you can raise money and all that? They still haven't approved that, have they? That's still floating
haven't
out there in ether.
Yeah, it hasn't been formally approved. From my understanding, is that they still have kind of like a safe harbor, like don't do this and you're not going to have any problems. But they haven't. I just looked at it the other day because Anthony was asking about it, and they haven't officially approved it. I don't know why. I think the SEC just went all in recently on just busting on the crypto guys. So they're very understaffed and underfunded right now, and they're heavily going after
Oh,
the
that's so
crypto.
awful. Sorry, but our money is safest when the government's underfunded.
Yeah, but no, I mean that's why they haven't. And obviously they have the enforcement end, and then they have what we will do with. I think the enforcement end is funded. I think our side is underfunded, and I think they haven't approved it yet. So it's safe harbor on who can raise it if you're a tier 1 or tier 2, or if you're just a
All right.
finder. I would, or it's actually tier 1 and tier 2, and then it's broker dealer. Obviously, broker dealer can do everything for raising money.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about us,
Series 82. They got Series 77 and Series 82.
Yeah, I'm
licenses
talking
for
about
here.
us who don't have any, who don't have a series anything.
I think if
So-
you stay in tier 1, and you just do a tier 1, I think you have safe harbor. There's things in tier 2 that you shouldn't do, and I'll post it tomorrow. When I get it, I'll post it so I can just tell people what hasn't been. They circulated. They got over like 200 or 300 responses back from securities attorneys, and they were working on a final approval. And I don't know exactly what happened with it. It could have been, I mean, it could have been new administration. That was supposed to be done in 2021, and it was supposed to be done by March or April. So it could have been new administration. Didn't, who knows? They got a new
Whatever.
SEC and all that. Okay. So you guys can use PPM Fast to, if you want to just get an idea. And I'm going to show you ours that was done in PPM Fast, and I've also showed it to securities attorneys. One thing is when you use the template, it's a lot more than. So a securities attorney and a securities law firm can probably get what I did in 63 pages in about 25 to 30, because they obviously, there's a lot of stuff that's redundant and stuff in ours. The templates come out about 60 pages. So we do have, but it's all legally compliant. So I'm going to show you, and keep in mind, so those of you guys haven't been on too much, sometimes it takes me a second to get the documents on share screen. So first I'll just there and check. Usually I have to get out once and come back in. Can anybody see that or not? Okay, I think I have to do that one more time. Does anybody see that one? It should say limited liability company.
No,
They
don't see it.
all we see is
Only
your
file
Windows
name.
Explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only see your Windows Explorer.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Okay. So this is actually what Private Money Holdings is. LLC is Jesse and Kevin and I. So, and it's a 506c, and it's the money. It's also PMA's fund and all that stuff. You guys remember when I was talking last week about Edgar and the CIK number? That's our CIK number. So you can go on the SEC's website and look that up. It does. So we set it down here, we have to put in, obviously this is our primary sheet, our primary address and all that in Sheridan, Wyoming. Of course, you guys remember from week one, while, we're in Wyoming, we registered because there's no state income tax, no corporate tax, and you're pretty much anonymous. So obviously we're doing, you guys, and this is Private Money Authority, which is the PMA, which is our RE and a few other, our other members. So we are tangible assets, real estate, precious metals, and strategic metals. So in this, yes, this is actually $1 billion. Del Morgan, which is the company we're actually going to do this through. We're not going to do it through this. We're not doing this PPM. We're actually doing it through Del Morgan, an investment bank. They actually told us it's easier to go get this kind of money than it is to get lesser amount. So they have experience at it. They just helped a customer, one of their clients, get a raise over $1.5 billion for biofuels. So we're selling, you have to put on here, things are called membership units. So a membership unit is how many units goes into the amount you're funding. And so this tells us that per unit, we're raising $50,000 per unit. And a minimum is offered as 20. That's $1 million. So $1 million. And then there's the minimum, and there's commissions. So commission is maximum commissions and minimum commissions. You can pay sales commissions. So Ari, when you're talking earlier about, finders and stuff, we can pay these commissions to people who are raising money for us. And so this would be more, and I'm not going to show you the whole thing, guys. It's 63 pages and it's a lot of legalese. So you get down into membership units again, 50,000 times 20,000 units is $1 billion, and it gets down in here. Yeah, so I'm going to point out some of the things that are important in this, and then I'm going to get out of it. If you want to see it, it's on the, it's a lot of reading. And I told you guys last week, my eyes kind of bleed when I see this. Let me try to actually blow it up a little bit too. So when we talk about per unit, we talk about the selling commission. So out of $50,000, we would pay $1,500 per unit. And the net proceeds is obviously 48.5. So you have, the net proceeds of this whole deal would be, that should actually be, the minimum would be 970, the maximum is 970 million. So there's 30 million in selling commissions, which can be paid to the people, to the the officers, the people like us, and it can be paid to people who actually raise the money. And this is legal. You put this in there, and if you have your investors come in and know this, you can pay this $30 million out. If you guys are going to raise $2 million to do an apartment complex, you're not going to need, this is more for a fund like we're trying to do. If you're doing it, I'll show you. And there's ones for apartment complexes. If it's $2 million, you can pay out a small amount of money to people trying to raise money. And that's in the syndication analyzer that you guys, that's also in the files tab section. So, and Armando, if you want to look through any of our stuff, we got a lot of stuff uploaded into the files tab section of our groups. So a lot of our documents and stuff are in there if you ever want to take a look at it. So obviously we go through this. I'm not going to go, like I said, not going to go through it all because this is really a lot of information. Out of everybody on here, I think Jesse and Kevin and maybe Ari, you might have seen this once or twice. Obviously, we have to have the people that are in contact. So like Kevin is our partner in investor relations, and then I do the subscription agreement and documents. We'll show a subscription agreement later on. So this is, and then so we have to go through a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna kind of show you how extensive it is. You have to kind of get into what you do. So obviously we're looking at rental income opportunities, foreclosures, assisted living, self-storage, multifamily flips, new construction, metals, strategic metals, rare earths, and energy, which is good. And then we talk about our members. So our group, like what Ari is, and some of our Jesse and a few other people as members who joined it. And the goal is the 300 million of it would be dedicated in earmarks for these members. So that would be money set aside for them to borrow. And the rest of the money could be, for other people as well as our strategic metals and things that we're going to invest in. So it's pretty extensive. So they would have, about $300 million between the 35 of them to basically do their real estate deals on. So we obviously have, there's some things called, we talked about like the states and NASA and all that, operations, we have to talk about where Wyoming-based company has formed in August 2018. So you got to kind of give them the deals. So this keeps going down, and we're a Colorado-based company. Private money authority is based in Colorado, where private money holdings is based in Wyoming. So obviously there's some, like I said, the tax advantages. So we have, we talk about the opportunity, and then, there's obviously, we got a lot of graphs and stuff in here. A lot of this is done in a template. So you can buy these and they already have the templates in there, and then you can just go in and modify these and put your numbers. These are all mostly fill in the blanks, and you can use Word and all that to basically edit them. So I'm going to go down a little bit more. Oh, this is something we did. Honestly, this is something we actually made it where the chief financial officer would be hired by the fiduciary responsibility to the investors. I mean, it would be hired by the investors. So if we have hedge funds come in and fund this, they would get to actually appoint 4 board members, and then they would get to hire the CFO to actually handle the money. So that was a risk management tool we used. We also have, and you guys look at this, if you guys look at, like the show Billions, or you look at, we have a management fee. So the management fee would be paid to our company for 2%, and that'd be annually based on what our total amount that we have managed. So that'd be up to like 20 million a year, and that pays for the expenses and all that. And then you have what they call a waterfall. A waterfall is basically talking about how people are paid back to investors. So distribution waterfall is 100% of cash flow until total annual preferred return of 8% is maintained, payable on an annual capital investment in a fund and only on returned capital. So we're basically paying the first 8% of the cash flow to the investors, and then we're basically doing this 49.51 for the profit. So that way, once this 8%, once their billion or whatever is repaid, this 8% evaporates, and then it's a 49.51 split. And then obviously there's the 2% we talked about a minute ago. So this is kind of things you have to put in a PPM. Like I said, I'm already at 15 pages. So if you work with any of our securities investors that I've been talking about, any of our securities attorneys, I'm gonna scroll down a lot. They can get these down to like 20, 25 pages. This is a lot. There's a lot of redundancy in here. And obviously we get into the bottom, we have to show people who our managing partners are. We got board members appointed by investors, Kevin and myself, and you get a board of directors and general counsel. We talk about dilution. You got to have dilution and current, stuff, and obviously private money holdings managing member. So there's a lot of information in these. This is called a private placement memorandum. We're going to show you an offer memorandum, and it's actually a lot more concise. It's colorful. If you guys want, like I said, you want to have a good time, go look at Edgar, and you can look up Microsoft's and Tesla's filings, and they're like hundreds of pages. And so this is I just wanted to show you guys that this is literally how depth you can get. We have to put our business plan. So this is our business plan. It's done, and then we had to basically copy and paste it in it. You got Jesse shows up finally in here because he's one of the officers. And we get into our history, what we're doing, our backgrounds. We got our members that all have positions. So it was set up that like each of our members had like a position, and a position would be their earmark. And we have 100 positions. We only have about 35 members now, so this would have to change again. And then they would divide up. Each of those positions would represent about $3 million. There are some people that had multiple positions, so they bought additional memberships, which would increase. We were told not to call it a credit line. And then we got to have exhibits. So we have an operation agreement that's separate. I won't go into that right now because that's a little different. Everything's changed in there. But just letting you know, that's exhibit A. You get into B, that's your operating agreement. C is the subscription agreement. I'll show you the subscription agreement. And D is investor suitability questionnaire, which I will actually do next week. And then we're going to start doing a lot more like just working on your deal. We're actually going to start working on your guys' deals next week. So this page is like rank. We talk about performers and 43 101s. You guys that have been around, I don't know, you've heard we've been talking about mining and osmium and strategic metals and critical metals. They all operate off of what they call 43 101. It's a little bit hard, it's a government form. It was started in Canada. So the Canadian government has it when the mining companies have to go and do like they have to tell the government what's in that mine, and it's like a legal document.
Yeah,
So we have
pretty intense too, because you've got the entire history of the actual property, the owners that have been involved in it throughout the term that the mine has been in existence, and you'll have multiple entries by multiple geologists at different points in time. Some of these go back 100, 150 years, so when you get down to looking at them, you can pretty much tell whether somebody's messing with you or if this is a real deal just by that alone. And if you ever get a chance to look at one of those and you're thinking about getting into precious metals, that'd be the place to start. Can't steal it from you if it's in the ground. That's basically what it gets down to. So it's worth looking at.
So we talked about a lot about our goals and trust account and security capital. Like I was talking about earlier, the CFO would be and the CEM, which would be hired by Jesse and Kevin and I, would work for us, and the CFO would work for the investors. They would actually be the managers of the money. That way there's a lot of protection. Money's just not being passed around and managed on QuickBooks like that cryptocurrency FTX was. So we actually talked about, and you guys have all heard this. This is at PMA University. I've been talking about this in last couple of days. This is what we were going to do with Lightspeed VT. This is the virtual training. We actually put all these numbers together. Chris Galicki, who is a phenomenal trainer. He put all the numbers together, and I have those if anybody's interested in that, because we are going to be doing the virtual training platform by the end of this year. And then we have a breakdown. We have osmium. We can talk about osmium another time because it's very fascinating and what we want to do with osmium. But just so you know that we were going to do osmium, and then a mine in California that still is available. Part of this money we were going to raise was going to pay for us to buy 21% of a mine with about $6 billion of in-ground assets. And then we got strategic metals and rare earths. And you guys have heard me talking about gallium. You guys saw me post about gallium a couple of days ago. And obviously germanium, hafnium, rhenium. There's a bunch of them. They all have IUM. Gallium right now, gallium is used particularly in batteries and some other markets. It's actually used in some nuclear stuff. And there is not the entire global supply of gallium cannot even supply what they need in just Austria. And it had a 246% increase in ROI from 2021 to 2022. So we haven't really updated. We haven't really updated this since about, and because I'm going to show you in a minute. We went to Del. I'm not going to post the Del Morgan thing. It's posted in the group. So we're going to use Del Morgan, which is an investment bank, and they basically go back and do their whole thing. If you guys are interested, like I said, it's posted in the group, in the Facebook group. So this is kind of our, and we have to go through exit strategy and then a closing summary of the money. You know, what we're raising, the verticals, and then the commissions per unit and 20,000 units. And then we get into all the, we get into the benefits. We have to show all the benefits. So this is 64 pages. So like I say, guys, if you hire Amy Wan to do it and you pay $8,000, she'll produce you about a 20-page PPM by Friday if you pay her and give her all the information on Monday. And she's bootstraplegal.com. She's probably the less expensive of all the security attorneys, and she basically uses technology to generate her documents. So she actually does automation. She's big in that. She used to work for Jillian and Gene at crowdfunding lawyers before Gene and Jillian split up. So Jillian's retired, so she can do it, but crowdfunding lawyers is still Gene Turbidge. He still has his company with his partners. And then also Merrill Calliser with Calliser Law. There's also Paul Vincent. Paul actually does taxes and real estate law as well as securities. So I have all those. I'm going to raise money. You're going to need like the PPM, offering memorandums. Offering memorandums really work better if you're doing like a property, like you're buying a multifamily, because you can put the details in there, and you can use Com or Canva, their free version or their paid version, and you can put pictures in and make a pretty nice offering memorandum, which is really cool. So let me go back to here and see if I can. I did have the offering memorandum. Give me a second. I have to do the same thing. It's just kind of sucks. I don't know why that is, but so this is actually our offer memorandum. Now this is, you guys will notice this is cleaner. This is color. And so would you rather see, so this is what we would actually send as an offer memorandum to investors to get them to the point where we're going to hand them that big long document, which now, Joe Morgan's going to take care of all this for us. They have their format, but if we were going to do it ourselves, we would actually use this to get investors to go to that other document, the one that's, lawyers have to go through. So this is our offer memorandum, and we get into like our unique powers. We talk about what our powers are. We talk about the benefits. We talked about this, the chief financial officer reporting to the investors. We get into a couple of different areas here. One is our real estate program, which is 6 and 7 and 8. I think I forgot 8. A good thing this is still rough draft. So we talk about mining, and in here the mine operator is a legacy family. So these people have been in the business for 75, 80 years at the mine, and they have 14 of the 50 critical metals and metals in the government strategy, Department of Energy and Defense. So that was one of our selling points to investors, is that this mine, if they invested in us, we're getting 21% of a mine where 14 of the 50 metals and minerals in it are actually in critical demand by the US government, by Department of Energy and Department of Defense. So there's about 700 pounds of strategic metals goes into an F-35 fighter, and Lockheed buys that. It's various metals that goes into there. You guys know the F-35 is the most sophisticated fighter we have, and a lot of it's like heads-up display. It's almost virtual display on there. The pilots don't have to look into the monitors. They can actually get all their data in their canopy and in their helmet. So they get a lot of information this way. And so there's a lot of these gallium, germanium, and all that stuff goes into there. But obviously our primary goal was PMA, our real estate program, and that's obviously what you guys are interested in. We are still pursuing this. with Del Morgan, and we're gonna make some changes to the mining and stuff like that. Osmium is a whole different opportunity. So you guys want to do Osmium, Kevin and I'll do a huge, we'll try to do a presentation on it. Ari's also into Osmium, and Jesse owns Osmium. You guys ever want to see it? He has some Osmium. So if we talk about Osmium, we get into real estate. So we had to give them our unique powers. And we talk about, and this is our offering memorandum. And so if you guys can get this, you guys can make one of these yourselves. If you're going to do even if you're going to fix and flip, or you do a rental property, you could go and put one of these together on Canva, and you could actually send it to prospective lenders and investors. You know, if you're going to go investor route or lender route, and actually prepared something, you can do this totally in Canva, and they have the free version. The paid version, I think, is like $10 a month, so it's not a bad deal at all either. So we obviously promote it, and we get in our verticals. By the way, for those who haven't seen it yet, this is Osmium and a Hublot watch. This watch sold for $150,000, and this one sold for $200,000. And Osmium comes in a box like this. It looks like an iPhone box. And that this crystalline is Osmium. So $150,000 for that watch. So we're going to do our company is basically going to do a variety of, things like critical metals, strategic metals, commodities, hemp, and ground assets, obviously real estate, space, and technology, because there's a lot of stuff with these minerals and metals that could go into some space stuff, public and private partnerships. So obviously these actually got really, Jesse's got a suit on, but yeah, this is we had to put our pictures and kind of our background on it. And then obviously we get more into our different verticals, and we got like, here's our performance, guys. And it's hard to see on here, but these are 5 of the metals. And terbium is one of them. Here's gallium. Gallium had a 240% increase in value from one year to the next. And you look at some of these, 354% on terbium, 354%. So if somebody invests $100,000 in terbium, it had a 354% increase in value. So we get into our strengths as partnerships. That's you guys, and that's guys in the master classes, and that's the PMA, and that's the people we're talking to. So we get back into what we're doing. This is just a quick summary of what we're doing in our PPM. We're doing a 51-49 equity split. The mine was 63 million to buy 21% of a mine worth. That's about 1.3 billion. So right there, I mean, literally that's coming out over the next 10, 12 years. The mine is actually fully operational right now in California. And the family has been involved with that mine for 75 years. So they weren't, they actually knew the mine. They have infrastructure, they have roads and all that stuff. It's a huge mining operation. Osmium, real estate, and then dry powder. You guys that don't know, dry powder is just available capital, that we would have. And we got to talk about the 43 and 101s and all that. And we had the investment terms and structure, the 51-49 split. So, and then obviously Kevin's the contact on this, going out to the investors. So that's actually what our offer memorandum. Yours is going to be different because you're buying, let's say 123 Main Street. It's 80 units, and you basically get go to the files tab section, download a multifamily analyzer, and go ahead and do all the numbers, get your rents. You want to get with Angel Marino, or there's a few other people in our organization between the master classes, but Angel's kind of a guru on this, and do your syndication and your analyzer. There's one that's for if you're going to do syndication and bring partners on, because it gets into waterfalls, it gets into the preferred return, which is to talk about is at 8%. Some people go as low as 6%. Really, you want to do about 6 to 8. You don't really want to go more. And if you are just going to go and look for loans for a multifamily, then you can use just the simpler one, which you pretty much can learn on your own, and it's available. So we have 3 separate multifamily analyzers that you guys all have access to download in the files tab section. So if you're looking at multifamily, if you're looking at self-storage and all that stuff, so then you can go to Canva and you can take this information, get pictures of the property. You want a good visual. Maybe you want to get like a map showing the area. You want to have statistics like population. You want to talk about the schools. And then you basically are going to put in information about the property, what it's doing for rents, how you want to show how you're going to raise, how you're going to do the value adds and raise the rent. So maybe you're taking it from a class C property, which is kind of like just above projects, like public housing, and you want to get it to a B. A B is more the average, nice, new carpet, hardwood floors, appliances. It's not getting to A. A is what you're seeing now that are, in Denver, they've got, a fitness center. Not saying that class B doesn't have a fitness center, but you get into like amenities, you get into like a business space, they're going to be 5,000 right now. In Denver, $5,000 a month will get you at a class C. It's kind of what the way that real estate's going here. But if you want to take like a class C up to a B, you want to put that in your offering memorandum. This is your selling tool. And so we're going to basically talk about next week on started going into your guys' deals, but we're going to do a little bit talking about the soft pitch and how you use our family office contacts for LinkedIn to actually do a soft pitch and start communicating with all these fund managers and lenders, because you can download all the CSV files. Don't look at CSV because you just saw my BPM and my eyes bleed when I look at that document after reading about 10 pages of it. But don't look at CSV, just download them and go upload them into connections and contacts in LinkedIn. And we have 8,000 contacts. Within 30 days, there's a little bit of manual because you still got to accept and things like that. There's a little, but literally in about an hour, you can put all of them in there. And then over 30 days, you'll have about 2,000 to 3,000 friends at hedge funds and family offices. And then you can start doing a soft pitch. We're going to talk about that next week. So about how to do a soft pitch, and that's where you just start friendly talking to them about their deals. And you start talking about what you like to do or what you're doing, and you start getting to the point where you can do an event or something, and you can then when you're ready, you've got your securities agreement, your securities attorney, or if you do it yourself, I don't recommend it. You can if you have other stuff together, you guys can then start do a hard pitch and do like a capital raise party. And we'll go into that a little bit too in the next couple of weeks, how to do a capital raise party. I've got a guy coming on for that who does those. Let me see if I got, okay. Subscription agreement's gonna be the last document, and then we'll get into some other things about a half an hour. So let me get into the subscription agreement. So you gotta have a subscription agreement. And this is the agreement that when investors decide to commit to you, and obviously next week I'll have the investor suitability questionnaire. So this is what you've already now confirmed that they are an accredited investor, and we posted that criteria a couple weeks ago. This is the agreement with them that they're going to they've agreed to us to raise $1 million and a maximum of 300. This is us. So when we were just going to do the 350, this is an old one. This is before we got involved with Del Morgan, when it was just going to be 350. So this is their agreement to invest with us, and it's got the terms. And so here's another key thing. So they have to certify, and you're already having to vet this, but you don't want to get there. Don't ask them for their check this night, because you then want to do a further check. There's actually a service you can do. If you sign up through Fund America or there's a couple services, they can actually go online and do all this, and they will do a KYC and know your client check and all that. And they will charge you I think it's like $100 or whatever per subscriber. If they're getting a check for 50 grand, $100 isn't, or two, whatever it is, it's not over 1,000. That's pretty well worth it for a couple $100. They do the background, they do the checks on it. They check their financials that they submit. So they got to submit financials, or they got to do a statement from their financial advisor and some other criteria. And so they have to say what they are, accredited investor. And, they have to, there's a lot of check marks, purchaser available. They've got 200,000 and 300,000 income. You guys remember a couple weeks ago, 200,000 individually. If they're married, $300,000 combined. So you can't be $200,000 and be married and qualify as an accredited investor. You have to make over $300,000 combined. $1 million in net worth, and it excludes the value of their primary residence. And then director and executive officer of a company. There's different criteria. Are accredited investors. All of the officers have to be accredited investors. You get into some of these large corporations, they are accredited investors. They're all making seven figures. Corporation, same thing. corporation not formed for the specific purposes of acquiring the shares offered with total assets in excess of 5 million. So they've got to have total assets if they're a corporation of $5 million or more to qualify, and they all have to be, their officers have to be accredited, qualified as accredited investors. And you get a Rule 501, Regulation D, so other accredited investors. We talked last week, and this is an older document. This is one I think where I was doing in 2020. In 2021, they changed the accredited investor requirements, and now they will allow some exceptions for if they are a certified, like if they have Series 77, Series 82, Series 7. There's some different requirements, different qualifications if they're a financial advisor, and they can qualify, and they can also advise people. If you have a financial advisor now, and they are, I don't think it's just a Series 7 because that's mostly just stock. If they have a series, I think it's got to be it's in the 60s, and I forget exactly what it is. I'll look it up and find out. There's one now that if you have a financial advisor that has a series license, you can be you're a qualified accredited investor. So this is the subscription agreement, and you go through it, and there's a lot of checks, and I would just do this really slow with but like I said, the other thing is if you use Fund America, they actually go through this and they have to certify it, and they do all the checks, and they go and check the financial records that are submitted. Everything is self voluntary. So you're not going to go and pull their bank. They're required, like a Fund America, they have to go in and check 3 or 4 different things that have to be actually submitted before they can even be reviewed. So the package won't even be reviewed until they've submitted everything. And so a lot of times, you're going to get a commitment. You can get there's a soft commit, which is, say, I'm going to put $1 million in, and I'm going to sign a letter of intent, and that's a soft commit. And there's a hard commit when they actually do this and they actually fund it. And they're going to fund it through an escrow. Most of these deals are going to have an escrow company. There's banks and companies that actually specialize in escrow. So you can tell this goes down pretty deep. It's pretty, they have to get back down to ownership, how many units they're buying, their name, if they're single joint tenants. This is all SEC requirements. Everything that's on here. They have a social security number, a tax ID if they're a company. This is everything that's on here is SEC required by the SEC. Now they obviously, when I got this, they actually put all my stuff in it, all our company information. So this becomes a legal document. So when you're raising money, you have a subscription agreement. And, let's say you're asking for $50,000. If you're doing a apartment complex and it's $1 million, you only need like 25, 30 people if they put in 50 grand. Literally, and then they'll have what they call oversubscribe. And oversubscribe is usually you have a few backup, and then you basically start, basically hold those people in reserve until your next project. But a lot of the experience, like Rod Cleef will he'll oversubscribe by about 20% on every one of his raises because he's such a solid operator. And his people get paid on time. He has reserves. He has emergency reserves. So during COVID, all of his investors were getting paid, but during COVID, a lot of people weren't. You have a little bit of flexibility with investors that you don't have with lenders. With lenders, you have to make the payment on time. If you have investors, you can actually, you generally have to do a written agreement with them and with the group to actually make changes like temporary, like if you're not going to allow redemptions. And actually, a key thing is if you guys ever watched the Bernie Madoff movies with Robert De Niro or Richard Dreyfuss, they're all 4 episodes, miniseries, and the 3rd episode they're dealing with redemptions. Like he literally got down to like $100 million left out of 50 billion, and all that. So redemptions are kind of interesting once you get into that. These are really not going to get redemptions because people don't really pull out. It's and then these subscription agreements, the LLC, they subscribe to the deal and they become part of the LLC. And for our purposes, we're a holding company. But if we were doing a property and it's 123 Main Street, the investors will become part of 123 Main Street's LLC. But the holding company manages the whole company, management company and stuff. We talked about that a couple, I think in week 2. So it's kind of just a breakdown, guys, of some pretty sophisticated forms. I know a couple of them are kind of redundant, I'll post the Del Morgan one, guys, and you can actually see what Del Morgan is actually working with us. It's they charge $150,000 engagement fee, but they've also raised about $400 billion for their clients over the years. A lot of their people that work for them go for like Harvard Business School, and it's the Wharton School. They go to Oxford in England, and they go to Stanford Business School, MIT. I mean, you go down the list, then you go down the list of all the people that companies have been involved with for raising money. So they're going to be raising the money for us, and I'm paying the $150,000 engagement fee for PMH, which is Private Money Holdings, and that'll be a good benefit to like Jesse and Ari. There will be some modification because we will obviously they've got their money set aside out of that deal, and then we will have a little bit of money for our Masterclass and our other people, because there's a lot of people have been working with us. We just can't put a timeline on it because they need about 4 months, and once we pay the engagement fee, and you guys will see that once I post it, you can go through and they actually have a time limit. They have a time frame, what they do in week 1, what they do in week 2, and when they start raising money and stuff like that. It's a pretty good thing. They take 7.5% for it, so it's a pretty good deal. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, hey Bill, I said just come on while I was talking. And guys, if I owe you a call from this weekend, let me know and I can make that call in the next couple of days. I'd like to try to get all these calls caught up by about Thursday. So actually, and then one of our other members, Chris Dolph, is going to be in Denver Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to meet up with him. He's not from here. He's coming here for another business meeting. And so we're going to meet up on Friday or Saturday. And then, like I said, we've got the guy coming on. And so Bill, since you missed it, and I think Doris, we have a guy who's joining us. He's going to be in the next masterclass in July, but he'll be joining us next week or the following week. He is going to be a paid member, just like you guys. And he is a lender for basically like down payments. He'll be a down payment and kind of like a short-term investor. He could be a partner or a lender. He can go a couple different ways. Kevin and I are going to be structuring his with him, and Justin Birch, who's our other AI friend. Justin's going to be we're going to be structuring his guidelines and his what he's going to be doing, his tear sheet, so his terms. So we're going to be able to make him available. Obviously, priority to everybody that's in the master classes. So you guys will have a lender. He's only got a couple $100,000, but what this is somebody who could come in with $5,000 to $10,000, $20,000, whatever to do a down payment or do something to help somebody get a deal closed. And a lot of times help you get a deal. It could be your first deal. It could be just, that way you got a down payment and you can go qualify. We can structure it also where they come in under the 10%. We're talking about Kogo, Ground Floor, and some other lenders, where if you're under 10%, they don't even sometimes require to be on the paperwork or as a guarantor. So if you need $20,000, so now let's say he comes in at 18,000, you just have to come up with $2,000, and they can show his reserves as your reserves, and you guys could probably get qualify for a down payment and get that first flip.
Do you have the paperwork for doing the transitional funding or the EMD down payment and stuff like that?
We don't. Yeah, we have some of it. But we're gonna be working on it with him, with this gentleman, and he's working with Justin, who has Justin did the AI with me a couple weeks ago. He has some of that as well. So we're gonna we'll have that tear sheet and all those qualifications. He is gonna basically come in for the first couple months, and he wants to go out to publicly, but for the first couple of months while he gets established. He did this previously, and he got he had one bad deal, and he kind of took some time. And he's actually I think he's in aerospace too. So Armando, you might get along with him. And he's in Farmington, New Mexico, so he's not too far away. So he works for a company down in Northwest New Mexico. So we have so we're going to be putting that together, Bill.
All right, because I have like about 125,000 that I was going to set aside for EMD and transitional funding and stuff, but I want to make sure I have contracts where I'm protected and I'm not just losing money.
If you're going to lend it out, or you just for yourself?
No, it will be lending out.
Oh, yeah,
other
we
people
have
that-
all that. We can set all that up. I mean, we have some of it and we can modify it to meet your needs. We've got a lot of it. I mean, that's what I talked to him today about. Because we've got some of it. I've got 30 USB thumb drives of just documents and stuff I haven't even put in uploaded yet. And we can modify it all. We've got those. We've got the short-term ones. And we got the systems where you can do that, use the title companies, and you just fund the title company. And if you want to get paid it back at closing with your interest, or if you want to stay in the deal, there's a couple of different options there.
I'm
And
in
then
EMD.
if you're gonna be in long term, yeah, if you're EMD, you're getting paid out right at title, right at closing. But if you're longer, then you could use a servicing company, and then you make the borrower pay for the servicing fees. You got Evergreen Servicing, we got Lake City, which is Lee Arnold's servicing company, and you got a couple of other options if you wanted that. But if you're doing AMD, you're funding the title company, you're putting your interest on it, you're getting paid back at closing. And we got the loan calculators and all that. So yeah, we got all that. We're setting that up. So yeah, we're setting it up for him so we can do that for you. If anybody's out there and you've got money and you want to do this, you want to lend money out and make some money back, then we've got to, because these are huge and we can get everything through the masterclass and the 2 groups and the PMA people and help everybody out with that. And these are all people that you guys will all know. I mean, you get to know some of the people already in this class, and there's some people from the PMA, the Masterclass 2020 group, and some PMA people. There's a lot of people already that are very experienced. So you should feel better if you loan to somebody that is already in one of these programs because everybody knows them.
Right, yeah, and I would. I was thinking about doing like the Paces Gator lending, but I'm very cheap. I don't feel like spending 10 grand.
Well,
to
that's
go
another. That was this gentleman's thing, and no, Justin is in that,
Yeah,
and
that's using it.
yeah, and Justin's got some things, and obviously they have some really, really strict NDAs, so I'm not even asking him for anything. I've got that, and if I have to go get it more, I can go to one of the lawyers and get it, that we have, and I can get whatever contract that meets the needs of everybody. If I don't have something, we have so many templates and stuff. Sometimes it's just finding one that we can modify and use the title companies. You're not going to get burned because you're funding the title company. You're putting it's got to be on the HUD one if it's a single family and you've got the direction to pay. So yeah, that's an easy thing when you have the title company involved.
Right.
Yeah, we can come up with an agreement for the borrower. Hey Spencer, how are you? Anybody else have anything that they want to go through specifically?
No, I have a question, Nate.
yeah.
When is you going to have the AI for the real estate?
We're talking about possibly the 27th. I'm trying to work it out because Armando he's on. And then obviously I'd like to get him with Justin and have a few discussions between those 2 guys and Kevin and I, just to kind of figure out how we're going to, Jesse, so we can figure out how we're going to do that. I would like to do it on the 20th and 27th, but I'm trying to say the 27th because it looks like it's going to be more able to fit those guys' schedule. And then I want to make sure with them that they know what we're going to be doing so we can kind of, because Justin will probably want to do it live where he's actually doing his deals, but he's showing you guys and just being slower so you can actually watch and ask questions. And then I'd like to have, Armando there because he's got, I think we could put a pretty good AI group together and really build something that we could actually all collectively take out to the public and actually, put a
But what
program
was
together.
Armando doing? Because for some reason, my link wasn't working, and then I
So
just
Armando is somebody that I started conversing with on Facebook. He works in the aerospace industry and he works does ITAR, which is hard to, it's a kind of a thing with arms race, with arms control, like weapons that the government use. And he's in Colorado Springs, and I've been watching him and his interaction, and he's been really thorough on his knowledge of AI. Now he doesn't have the real estate background that Justin does. And Justin was using ChatGPT, and that's when Armando. So I invited him on. He was on here for earlier, and he's, I think he just left. But yeah, he doesn't have a real estate background like Justin does. But what I want to try to do is get them together with Kevin and I, and then basically come back out and do this like we want to, because we want to make sure we're missing people tonight, and I want to get the people from 2020 in it. I like to have 20 people at least on when we do the AI, so everybody can practice it and then or watch it, and then Armando's gonna go into our group tomorrow, and he's gonna introduce himself, and he's gonna list some links to get some of the programs. Some of them you can get for free, so you can at least start. You could learn how to. He said the best thing to do is go do a birthday card for someone or do some basic that kind of stuff. You just start learning how to do the little things, and then we're going to get more into like the real estate scripts and things, and kind of make sure that you guys, I want this group, since I've seen this, I want this group to be like, hey, we can go out there and just work circles around anybody else. And if you take, and he was even agreeing on this, so is Justin, and so is Mel, who's the guy that's coming in to be the lender. They've all agreed that if we can incorporate our lender lists and our funding managers and all of everything we've been talking about, we could actually you guys could literally go in 2 hours, find a property, make the contact, do analysis, do your comps, and basically do your offer and link to a lender or an investor in the same session. You won't, obviously you won't get, approval, but you could actually initiate and get everything to the seller's agent or the seller and a lender in the same night. And you could just, Justin did that 3 different tasks. He went through in 2 hours and did 3 completely different things. And he used Privy for one, PropStream for one, and PropWire. Guys, don't forget PropWire is 100% free. They have a paid version, but everything that we can do, I was on with him. I went back and looked at it, got an account. You can do just about everything you need to do for free on PropWire. That's just propwire.com.
Are you talking about you could do everything that you could do in what's this program?
Was Privy, and there's
Yeah.
PropStream. Yeah, and Privy's like, I think Kevin, you might have correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was $997 the last time we had Benson on. It was about $1,000. That was the basic. That was Privy, and then he had a program where he gave you a buyer's list. Like you could literally pull up a buyer's list for that area. If you're looking at Indianapolis, he would give you a buyer's list of everybody who buys properties in Indianapolis. And
I'm talking about is PropWire similar to Privy?
Yeah, but you can do a lot more multifamily and commercial with it. So what you're looking about doing is, with looking at your doors, your 40 doors that you're talking about. Yeah, I would use PropWire. You're not going to find that on Privy, and you're going to be able to do it on PropWire for free.
Okay.
Just set up an account, and I don't think I even need to really explain it to you. I'm just sign up for it and sign up for the free version and play around with it. And I think if they have a tutorial, and I think, you should be able to learn it under an hour. Literally, it's that easy. Doris, I'm telling you, it's right now. Go next time you get a chance and just get PropWire and get the free version. PropStream costs money, and Privy's about $1,000 a year. And Benson, if anybody wants Privy, Benson will usually give a pretty good discount for our groups because he's, like I said, we got stranded at the Phoenix airport during a snowstorm. Not no snow in Phoenix. It was actually here in Denver. We spent 6 hours waiting for a flight.
Wow.
After the Pitbull conference. Yeah, it was like interesting because it was like 90 degrees in Phoenix, and we're stranded at the airport. Every other flight to every other destination is leaving, but the one for Denver got canceled.
Wow. So
we had we had 11 o'clock originally. We finally left at 4. I didn't get home till 11 o'clock. I literally had to take light rail, and Ari knows how bad Denver's light rail system sucks.
Don't get me started.
Hey, I was at Dulce the other night, and I thought about you. Ari came out a couple years ago to Denver, and we on a Friday, and we had a couple beers.
Yeah, you cheap bastard! You didn't even buy me dinner.
Well, you wanted to go to Cheesecake Factory, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna not.
No, I didn't go to Cheesecake Factory. I ended up going to a place by the train station in the end.
Well, no, exactly, because I thought you went. Well, never mind. I just thought you went back to
it was really weird, man. I was sitting there. I have a video of the weirdest thing that some guy was practically naked on a skateboard or something, going back and forth while I'm eating dinner. I have to find that video and send it to you. I'm like, this is my This is my member of Denver.
I was hanging out with Nate.
Oh
No.
my God.
So guys, yeah, I mean, like I said, PropWire is free. Just go sign up for the free version. And,
Okay.
you
So
know,
you-
then we can, yeah.
So you think of having Justin the 20th or the 27th of March?
I'm
Or-
gonna. My goal is to have it on the 27th. If they have to do it on the 20th, we will. But what I want to do, Doris, is I want to make sure that we have a really good. I really want you guys. I want to be able to advertise it to the Masterclass group, the last Masterclass group, some PMA people, and I want to be able to have a good sized group to learn it. And I want to make sure that we have a really good present. Like when I turn it over to them, these guys can just basically blow your guys' minds away because I think it's so incredible to use that if you can, and with some of the with Chat GPT, and I think Microsoft is putting another $2 billion into it. And like you said, it flipped out Google enough that they brought back the two founders of Google who are pretty much retired because Google was so unnerved by how fast Microsoft had come out with their version. You know, obviously Elon's and Facebook and all that, Twitter. I don't know. I mean, he talks about it. I saw Elon talking a few things about it on Twitter when people were asking him about it. But obviously, he's got bigger things to do. You know,
Yeah.
they're actually launching. SpaceX is actually launching astronauts tomorrow.
Wow.
So I mean, he flies astronauts to the. Then he builds cars. Then he runs Twitter.
Mm.
So Gabriella, how are you? So I'm letting her try to get her in right now. I think Kevin's been having a weird thing with his, like in 2020, it was my internet. And then now it's like his internet. Who knows? But also guys, April 1st, I'll be back in my office that I haven't been in 2 years. I still have my address there in Denver and it's, you know, we had to vacate because of the social distancing. Like it was, I was hot desking at the time because I didn't need it all the time. But I'll be in April 1st. I'll be in an office that'll look like a studio. It's got glass walls. It's got other offices, but my office will be awesome. And I'll have all the screens, and I'll basically have 8K video camera for doing these videos. So I'll go down there and do it in a regular office. I'll have a whiteboard and I'll have to draw on. So Gabriella, how are you? Let me make sure if you're unmuted. And guys, so like I said, tomorrow I'll have this up about 9 o'clock. Make sure you guys check the group tomorrow. I don't know what time, just keep checking back and forth and I'll try to let everyone know that Armando's going to post his introduction to him, and then he's going to put his links in there to the AI stuff. So you guys can just kind of look around. Some of them may just be informational, and then he's going to have some that are free where you can go and get like Chat GPT and stuff for free on there. And that way you guys can go in and start playing around with it.
Hey, I gotta run, Nate. I'm
No
taking a-
problem. Hey, good talking to you, Ari.
See you later.
I'll call you later in the week.
Yeah,
Okay.
I figured finally get back on here and y'all got to disappear.
Well, no, Gabrielle's just got on. So let's I know I keep trying to unmute people. Gabrielle, so how you doing?
Okay.
How's I haven't talked to your husband yet, so I know we need to get him on. We need to get you guys on. Have you been able to get the videos?
Not yet, but I need to catch up a little bit.
Okay.
Mm.
The videos I will post usually by 9 o'clock. I'll put tomorrow I'll put the link in by 9 o'clock my time, and I've got the other 6 weeks, so they are in there. And I posted those all back to back 6 posts, so you can go under the YouTube. So like I said, and even told Rocco in one of the texts to him, I said, basically you have to go through the links that are in the group. Otherwise, you can't just go to YouTube because you'll never find them. They're private. We don't want. I mean, you guys. We want to make sure that everybody gets them without going to the public. And then we had an AI guy on earlier talking about artificial intelligence. So that'll be important in the morning, or tomorrow when you watch this video. That artificial intelligence is pretty cool, and we're going to be teaching you guys about artificial intelligence and how to use it for real estate. So it's pretty phenomenal. I'm pretty excited. I didn't really know that much about it until Justin said, "Hey, I'm going to show you some stuff tonight." And he was in 2 hours. I was like, "Crap, everybody needs to use this.
Mm.
I don't get excited about stuff very often, at least in that much. Because I'm like, usually I want to be very conservative and get you guys, know how to do things. Oh, the other thing too, Gabriella, too, is we have a new, because we're obviously doing another master class. We're starting in July. And we have some people coming in now who will be in that July class. They're going to come in at different times, but we have a gentleman coming on who has a couple $100,000 of his own money, and he's going to lend it for as down payments or partner with people for down payments. So if you need a down payment, you can come in as a partner or a lender and help you get a property if you don't have the down payment money and stuff like that. So we've got yeah, he's coming in as a paid member. So,
Oh, wow, that's
a
great.
master
That's
class.
really useful.
Yeah, so
That's
he's not only going to be a lending, but he's also paying to join the group, just like you guys did.
okay.
So
That
that
sounds
makes it a little
awesome.
bit like Armando's not. Armando's really he's not, but he's not going to be like he's phenomenal with what he knows about artificial intelligence. He's going to work with Justin, and I think March 27th, just for everybody to know, I think that's we're going to do the AI. Now, if everybody, if you are owed or you need a phone call, like I said, just hit me up in Messenger tomorrow morning and let me know, and we'll try to set it up. I think Bill, you talked to me to try to do something on Saturday, and I wasn't able to do anything on Saturday afternoon. So I'm free to talk to you anytime you want this week. That's convenient.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, just sometimes like in the week, it's like like noon on Saturday. I was like fried. I try to spend a couple hours every day trying to just do my marketing and trying to get some because I'm getting a lot of resources that way, and then I try to. But on the weekends, I'm pretty fried. By about noon, I'm like, let's go watch a movie or something.
Yeah, no problem. I got it.
Yeah, I got Apple TV on my phone for free for a year, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of cool stuff on Apple TV. So yeah, so guys, that's pretty much what like I said, what we got. If I'll make sure that the video's up by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's so you can watch the AI, and if you need to catch up, I mean, just let me know if you're not able to find it in the group. I mean, you'll be able to find it tomorrow. It'll be up by 9. That one will be fresh, but the ones before, you guys know I post a lot of stuff. If you need help finding those videos, let me know. And
Where
then
are
I
you
can
gonna
direct you
post them exactly?
in the Facebook group.
Oh, you will. Okay.
I post everything in there, and it should be like, and those are in the group. All the documents and the templates are in the files tab section. So if you need
Okay.
like to post anything that I've shared and share screen, it should
Mhm.
be in the files tab section. Now the videos from YouTube don't post in the files tab section. And then you can't find them. You can't just go to YouTube directly because I don't put these out there. These sessions with you guys, I don't put it out for the public.
Okay.
I have other ones I put for the public. I think it's today I did my 94th video on YouTube, but you guys have, this is the 7th. So there's like tomorrow there'll be 7. We got like 5 weeks left, and then we're going to go to every other week for just doing, but next week, after about 30 minutes, we're going to do investor suitability, like investor qualification and one other task. And then we're going to start basically the next 5 weeks of just helping you guys get deals. You guys are ready. And if you need a refresher, we're here for that. But in the next 5 weeks, it's all about getting you guys your deals and getting your first deals or getting you guys. We have 12 people in here, and we already have about 4 for Masterclass 2 that are coming in, and then we still have about 7 people out of the 12 in 2020, and then a few like our and Jesse and all them from PMA. So. But yeah, that's pretty much everything we have, unless anybody has any questions or anything. Cool.
Let's go ahead and pull it off record.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off record. So now we can just kind of